Cash in on the return to Chicagoland Speedway. That's right, the NASCAR Cup and O'Reilly Series. Head to the Illinois suburbs. We get you set from a betting perspective next, right here on the Backroad.
I don't drive a Monte Carlo, and my truck ain't painted black. It ain't got a big white number 3 turning left around the track. Let's go!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks a bunch for taking a ride down the back road with us. It is In Between Media and FSAN's NASCAR betting show. Seth, you mentioned it in the intro there. We are heading back from the inner city of Chicago, where we ran the street course, back out to the suburbs of Joliet. Chicagoland Speedway's first race in 6 years.
Super excited for it, Elliot. I feel like as a race fan this summer with the Naval Base extravaganza just a few weeks ago and now heading back to Chicagoland, I feel very spoiled. Some of the bets have fallen. Some of the bets have not fallen. But the books, I think, very generous with some of the offerings out there. Got to shop around, right? But really liking what we're looking at here heading into just a fantastic weekend out there in Joliet.
It really will be uncharted territory. And that's what makes it all the more exciting to get into it. Of course, usual suspects, Elliot Hicks and Seth Woolcock here. We will start the show in the rear view, breaking down the weekend at Sonoma. Then we will dive into the Chicagoland stats and the horizon forecast. And then in the parking garage props, bring you our best bets for the first race here since 2019. Best way to support us, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Man, I tell you what, it's been hot lately, but it's going to be one hot night. Got the cold drinks here, and we got some hot bets on the card for you.
Yeah, we absolutely do. The only thing that could make this summer any better, it's been a big one, right? The FSAN merger, getting married, already got Pocono out of the way here, and it's only starting to get to July. The only thing that can make this better, let's bring Kentucky back next year. I'm starting here. Bring back Kentucky, baby. Let me know in the comments too in the live chat. Would you guys F with a Kentucky race? Was Cole Custer the last winner there? Am I correct on that?
I think so. Yeah, I believe so.
Let's go. Colonel Custer.
Its last 2 years had great finishes. You had Cole Custer 4 wide for his only cup win in the year before. That great duel between Kyle and Kurt Busch.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Come on. Let's do it up, NASCAR. Do the right thing. Do the right thing here.
Hey, that would be fun, but we're a little biased. That would be about the second or third closest track to us, being in Western Pennsylvania. Not a terrible drive to get down there, at least compared to some of these tracks. The further south or west you get to be a little further for us.
I don't want to be this guy, but do we need to go to Talladega twice a year? Do we have?
Don't even. Not Dega. Don't take Dega.
If we're starting to take them away from these tracks that we go twice a year, which ones could you live without? Do you think?
Well, we still go.
Maybe the Bill.
I guess you go Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta all twice a year. But I mean, I just hate to take any of those races away.
I know that. Yeah, I know, because Atlanta's the hottest ticket in NASCAR right now, so you can't take it, or Daytona. So maybe it's not Daytona, maybe it's Martinsville, and I'm a Martinsville kind of guy. But
yeah, but even the Martinsville, you got 2 distinct times a year. It's a great little town track. That's the problem, is we've added so many cool destinations and racetracks. We've already taken, the second race from Pocono and from Michigan, and from Dover didn't even have a points race. New Hampshire doesn't have 2 anymore.
Yeah,
we didn't go to Chicagoland for 6 years, so it's just getting down to the nitty gritty.
We need to do. Let's do a show right, where we can kind of eliminate some of the tracks. You know what I mean, and maybe put some in, relegate some and move some in, like the Premier League.
Yeah, I feel like people are going to flame you for the bring back Kentucky, so I'll provide a tick to get flamed for too. Let's just expand the schedule. Let's run a couple Wednesday night races and slip Kentucky in one of those.
I'm not opposed to that. I'm going to be honest. I'm not opposed. The Wednesday night COVID races, that was something.
That was something for sure. All right. Hey, as much as we'd like to continue on and BS, you're right, we'll have to do a separate show for that. Again, we do want to mention that the Backroad is now a part of the FSAN Racing Network, and the rest of the content can be found in a couple of different places now, Seth.
Yeah, absolutely can there, Elliot. the In Between Fantasy Football podcast, that's shifting over there to the FSAN Fantasy Football Advice Network channel. The golf, the 19th hole show, that's going to the FSAN Fantasy Golf Advice Network. In Between Media, our old stomping grounds, that's becoming entertainment betting only. We actually did a show earlier this week, Elliot, a lot of fun with Trash and Brian, myself, and we cover the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. We got down on some Kalshi lines for that. So a little bit of gambling in those streets happening over there on that sub channel. Just go back to youtube.com/@IBT_media. There you go. And then right here, same place, always for the Backroad. And Elliot, a couple of different forms of content coming out this week, if I'm correct.
Can't wait to see it all. What's the line on Joey Chestnut to win that? If he's in
it's like minus 1,200. Yeah. The winner without Joey Chestnut market, that is the one to get invested with.
Yeah, it's almost like when Max Verstappen was winning 20 of the 25 F1 races a year. You're going to have to go without him. All right. Hey, I want to shout out our live viewers here on YouTube as well. We got our guy Marcus chiming in. Big Chris Bell fan. He did better than we expected kind of at Sonoma. Did advance in the in-season challenge too, as we'll talk in our bonus episode that you can watch tomorrow heading into the weekend. Blaze Wolf checking in. I believe old Red Dog, Tyler Reddick, has a great shot. He would love to see him get back on track after his past 2 dismal weeks. And also chiming in, fuck yeah.
Hey, let's go, Blaze. Let's go, Blaze. He knows what's up.
I appreciate it. Like I said, easiest way to support us, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. If you stream us on Apple Podcasts, thank you. Leave us a review there. We'll talk more about all
I think on all audio platforms now as well, Elliot, actually.
Okay,
FSAN helped us out. They got us, some of those, like Spotify was not being kind to us for a little bit. And, also on all audio platforms, if, I don't know why anyone use anything other than Apple Podcasts, but, teach their own.
Well, and it's funny because normally I would use Spotify to listen to podcasts. But a couple of weeks ago, I kept having issues where it would get halfway through the podcast and totally freeze and lock me out.
More Spotify issues. Who would have thought?
I've moved back over to Apple Podcasts when I'm listening to the pods, at least.
Let's go.
So,
let's go. Appreciate
regardless of the medium that you're watching us, we certainly appreciate it. And I know everyone's ready to get into it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Look back in the review at Sonoma.
Baby, that's how you do it. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. You are the man. No way! We did it! Yeah!
Well, Seth, like every other road course weekend, it feels like there were 3 letters that we talked about all weekend long. SVG. Dominated the O'Reilly race. Cup race was a little closer. We saw a deal with Shane Van Gisbergen where he did not have the best car. Nowhere close to it. Ty Gibbs probably would have been up there if not for flipping the strategy to get max stage points. And Chase Briscoe was this close, turn 11, final lap. He was this close to sending it, knocking him out of the way and being able to take that win. But Shane Van Gisbergen was able to sweep the weekend. And it was nice because normally he's just so good and the car is good enough. But this was a challenge where the best car did not win, but the best driver certainly did.
It absolutely did. And, how that played out over the weekend is kind of how I thought it would be, where SVG probably still wins, right? Like that would be the place to place an outright. However, we saw him come out on Saturday. The equipment was not the best. Once again, it didn't seem like he really liked his car until partway through that race. And if it wasn't for Chase Briscoe a few laps before the last lap, sliding up there and just over driving the corner a bit, losing over a half a second right on one corner, I think there's a chance that he does end up winning that race, or at least getting to SVG and making him make a mistake. But aside from that, though, it kind of was your usual suspects at the front for the road course for the majority of it. Ty Gibbs, as you said, had speed. But it was good to see SVG have a test and be put to it, because could you imagine if he was driving like a JGR car on one of these road courses? Like it would be then untouchable. But we're here through all 4 road courses now, and he only had 2 wins. So pretty much the unders coming through if you bet any type of season win total on him.
It is interesting that it almost seems like the Trackhouse cars and setups have kind of regressed on road courses, but
100%
they have to put in so much work to get better on the ovals. I mean, you're at a place where SVG is probably the worst oval driver of the 3, Chastain, Zilisch, and Shane, and he's the highest in points. And obviously the road course couple of wins he's had has helped, but he's the highest in points out of the guy who won 10 O'Reilly races last year and a guy who's won plenty of oval races and was in the championship 4 just a couple of years ago. So Trackhouse is in a weird spot, but SVG still able to get the win when he needed to.
Yeah, the intermediates, you actually looked. I was surprised today how decent SVG's been in like average running position at some of those tracks. Even average starting position too. Like he's kind of getting out of the truck fast. But to your point, like Trackhouse equipment, it is definitely regressed. Like you can see it, and I don't know if it's just other people maybe catching up with SVG, but on some of those braking zones, those hard braking zones, you were seeing Chase Briscoe catch him, and then through the S's, SVG so good there, he would probably get him for a 2/10 of a second there per lap through those S's. So really interesting stuff. And I don't think that Trackhouse really has that great of speed here. Like Connor Zilisch looked pretty good on the day too. Like I think we were both impressed with him. One of his better performances in the Cup Series as a whole, finishes P7, but was up there as a top 5 car for most of the day. I just don't think he, again, had great equipment under him.
I think what's really helping Shane at the ovals is when you get those good runs on road courses, you get a better spot in the metric, which means the track is better for you for qualifying. You're probably going to have better track position. So this is one thing I kind of didn't think of, but I wonder what the SVG top 10 numbers are this week, because if he's able to have a clean race in what's going to be an unexpected track for everybody, that may be something I'm adding after we see how qualifying goes Saturday or even practice tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll check that out for sure. I'm definitely kind of interested because like it's just like what we talked to Danny Suarez at Pocono. Like when you qualify up front, like you're gonna potentially be in a place where that playbook opens up, right? So 6-1, I'm good on that. I think maybe if I could get me closer, like when I've seen like JHN out there for like a 9, I'd rather just have someone like that.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Glad you mentioned Zilisch because it was a good day for Connor Zilisch, finally getting a finish he kind of deserved. But it still worked on our betting cards. We both had the Kyle Larson over Zilisch at plus 120, and that hit because Larson had a great day as well. Of course, the SVG parlay that I had, his feelings were indeed hurt after San Diego, and he ends up winning both of the races. Plus 222, low odds for a parlay, but when it hits, it works out for you. Yeah. And then, again, why you want to be in the IBT Racing Family Discord. I mentioned that I had seen earlier in the week about theScoreBet having some sort of motorsports boost. I thought it was going to be a general motorsport boost, maybe throw it on a long shot top 10 or something. It was a motorsport boost that was for the F1 race only, and could only be used on odds 3-1 or longer.
Oh, wow.
The Max Verstappen top 3 was a plus 300. I boosted it to plus 330.
Wow.
And he ran second. So that really helped my card too. Better than it was at San Diego. Still not perfect. Losing a bit of that momentum that I had in the late spring, early summer. But I'm kind of glad to be done with the road courses because they threw more wrenches into the game than I thought. And getting back into the traditional ovals closer to the chase, I feel like that'll really help us kind of get things settled down.
It really does, because at these road courses, like we kind of know what's what, right? And we're betting the same 5 or 6 guys each and every week for the majority of it. It's just like when there's fuckery like there was at the naval base, that's going to put you back a little bit, right? And like if that wreck doesn't happen, or the wreck on Saturday that was caused as well, like probably both of us were coming out of that race in the green rather than in the red. So I think that changes things quite a bit. So it was kind of an uphill battle. Came up north here of 3+ units. So thankfully in the green here. A lot of thanks to McNasty there. At times I was a little bit worried about him. He kind of got back in traffic, kind of got off strategy there for a second, but came through for the top 10, minus 135 for 4 units. Appreciated that. You mentioned the Kyle Larson over Zilisch. Hammer of the week there in the matchup contest, got me one step closer to you as well, with you falling down a peg there. And then, again, why we say being the IBT Racing Family, because Sunday morning, I'm coming back for my 10-year reunion. I'm hurting, Elliot. I'm going to be honest. Like I'm hurting a little bit, was so dehydrated during the night, like got a Charlie horse. So like I'm limping home here. I was like, there's got to be something out there. And, just like to get a little more going into today. And I'm glad I found something. Brad Keselowski, top 20, plus 239 at Kalshi. Brad had been like top 10 there, or top 20 there, excuse me, like 4 years in a row. So I was really happy to get a little bad Brad there. And then Liam Lawson, top 10 finish on the yes side of Kalshi over there, minus 137 for a unit for the F1 race as well.
Man, I tell you what, Charlie Horse Woolcock either sounds like somebody that was on a baseball team in the 1890s or some old Western film, but glad your bets turned out all right. Certainly a little better than mine. And I fucked up again. I was too high on McDowell. I think I had a top 5 on him again, and maybe a matchup or something else.
The top 10's been there, man.
That's what I said. I said on the show, I was like, man, I should get on board this top 10, and it just didn't happen. But hey, you live and you learn. And like you said, normally betting the same road course guys, that helps. But then the fuckery of Austin Green loses his brakes in practice, absolutely destroys the turn 11 fence, destroys the car. Glad he was all right. They were able to basically patch together RCR's like primary backup car. Has to start all the way from the back. The pedals aren't normal for him. Like the seat wasn't normal. Still runs 12th, but unfortunately 12th didn't make me any money. 10th would have. But yeah, that sort of shit happens. And it just, it's funny to say this going into a place where we've never raced on in the next gen, haven't done a race here since 2019, but it feels like there'll be less fuckery this week than there were the last 2 weekends on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. We can hope so.
I'm really excited to see it. Just like I'm really excited to get to Canton here in a couple of weeks' time. Seth, tell us about some of the things we'll have going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're ripping right now the hashtag Weekender promo, because if you're free on that July 25th, consider coming to get a ticket to Draft Night Out. Honestly, Elliot, we're going to be close to sold out. So if you guys want to get a ticket right now, we want to see some of our NASCAR family out there as well. If you're into fantasy sports betting, whichever it is, over there in Canton, it's a great time every single year. We're going to be camped out there at Jersey's, the sports bar there. We're going to have 200 of our closest fantasy football friends at this event. We're going to have a shot wheel spinning, songs of singing, giveaways going off, and a little bit of everything in between as well, my friends. So we're running that hashtag Weekender special, because if you want to get a ticket to Draft Night Out and the IBT Classic, that's our golf scramble the day before. The link for that is in the episode description. So make sure you check that out. Hashtag Weekender, Elliot, because it's going to be a weekender, my friend. It's going to be a weekender.
Man, no doubt about it. I'm really excited for it. It's going to be a great couple of events, just like the events at Chicagoland Speedway are going to be just as exciting. Well, we won't be there, so not quite as exciting. But in any case, let's start to look ahead to Chicagoland weekend in the Horizon forecast.
Let's do it.
38 on the Cup entry list, J.J. Yaley in the 44, and Corey Heim back in the 67. Unfortunately, good old Josh Bilicki in the 66 withdrew due to lack of sponsorship. But hey, one less moving chicane out there, less chance of fuckery. So in any case, hope to see them back at the track soon, though. O'Reilly Series 38 cars there. Cole Custer back in the 0. And then the JRM musical chairs continues. This week it is Zilisch in the 1. Quapple is in the 9. Carruth is in the 32 because Chase Elliott is in the 88. So anytime one of these Hendrick guys comes down, I guess Larson's won a time or two, but other than that, I mean, Bowman hasn't run. Byron's kind of run like shit, and I don't know if Chase has been down there, but
not this season. He hasn't. No.
It always helps the odds a little bit for the series regulars when you get those Hendrick Cup guys down there.
Right.
So we'll talk more about that. Plenty of O'Reilly bets, so we're excited to chat about that too. Things get started tomorrow. You have O'Reilly practice at 4:30 on Friday. Cup practice at 6 o'clock. They get a little bit extra time in that session. The ARCA race is at 8 if you want to see how cars do on track before we get into the big shows. Saturday, O'Reilly qualifying 1:30, Cup qualifying at 3. Remember, we switched over to True TV and HBO Max for that. The O'Reilly race, the Cuervo 300 at 5:30 p.m. Stage lengths there, 45, 45, and 110. Cup Series, we're in a nice little stretch here. The next 3 weeks are night races. I think they're all Sunday night races. A lot of people don't love them. I love them. We got a little Sunday 6 o'clock, the eero 400 Cup Series race, 80, 85, and 102. Chicagoland Speedway. It was a mainstay for the longest time on the schedule, 2001 through 2019, one race here a year. Used to open the Chase, and now back on the schedule for the first time in a few years. 1.5 miles, high tire wear, intermediate track. High tire wear even more so than usual because of just how the surface has worn over, not being well maintained over the last 6 years without much going on there. That means Homestead is probably the primary comp here. Tire wear, big time driver's track. Kansas pretty similar in shape as well. So my fantasy race secondaries, Darlington, again, high wear driver's track. Vegas, Charlotte, and Texas, your cookie cutter 1.5 miles there. I mean, that seems like a pretty well encompassing list there. I don't know if you'd want to adjust any of those spots, add any additional comps or anything like that.
Yeah, Chris, pretty much for the model, he went with Kansas, Vegas, Homestead, and Charlotte kind of as those primaries. And then Texas, Pocono, like these are still in intermediate tracks. Same with Michigan. It's just like less tire wear there, right? Like you're going to get the low to medium, low tire wear on those kind of big flat tracks. But like I definitely we have to pull from these comps more than ever this week in Elliott with no track history here, specifically in the next gen era, right? Like, so for me, I really leaned on what did you do at Kansas? What did you do at Vegas? And what did you do at Charlotte mostly? And then from there, like everything else was pretty much gravy. Just taking what I could get from Texas and Pocono and Michigan as well.
Yeah, similar tire will run here. They did tire tests on the Cup side. Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin did the tire tests. And sometimes you can look at these tire tests and it'll be kind of lower, middle of the road tier drivers where you think, oh, they might not have run top 10, but they're going to get a big boost. Those are 3 of the 5 favorites in the race. So not really a big boost from the tire test, I feel like there. On the O'Reilly side, it's kind of the same because it was Justin Allgaier and Brandon Jones that did the tire test for Chevy and Toyota on that side. So I don't know if you're going to take extra stock in those guys having the extra laps. These are mostly the guys I was looking at anyway.
Yeah, to be honest, I saw this trend later on in the day after I'd already gotten down on some wagers. And then, so I think I'm just more inclined to bet these guys like Larson. I don't have any Hamlin or Blaney on my card, like not to spoil anything, but I don't. Like, I just haven't found good numbers on them personally. But like, I was already betting Gator. I was heavily invested in Larson. I think most people are this weekend. So, can't hurt though, right? Like, I always like guys who've run some laps, and having the big 3 teams have more data doesn't make me think that we're going to get any type of upset right now. I mean, I would think I would bet my house that the winning driver comes from just give me HMS and JGR this week too. Like maybe Penske, but I don't think so.
Yeah, with the speed they've had on the 1.5 miles this year, I would agree. We'll talk more about that into the bets. We'll throw some trends at you here first. Like we said, first race here since 2019. We don't want to admit 2019 was that long ago, but it was that long ago. Your defending winner here is Alex Bowman. He outdueled Kyle Larson in the summer of 2019, earned his first career Cup Series win there. He's the only first-time winner here, again, raced from 01 through 2019 here, so not a big, long history, but enough that we still kind of get an understanding. So Bowman, the only first-time winner. It's all pretty established winners, the Harvicks and Stewarts and Earnhardt Juniors. We had David Rudiman win in 2010, Rodney Childers pit box there. That's your only other kind of upset winner. Otherwise, it's a relatively chalky lineup of victory lane drivers here. Active drivers, of course, Bowman, Denny Hamlin won in 2015. Brad Keselowski, a pair of wins here, 2014 and 2012. The only active drivers who have wins here. This one's interesting now because this is the qualifying trends. And again, not in the next gen. So I don't want to say take it with a grain of salt, but of course the cars back then and now are a lot different. But only 2 races in Chicagoland's history have been won from a top 5 starting position. And only Kyle Busch in 2008 has won from the front row. So that is just over 5%. That's it, of winners from the front row. 10.5% from the top 5. 42% from the top 10 is a little more normal. 5 wins starting outside the top 25. So qualifying, it's always important, and you always want to start up front. But the stats here have kind of gone the opposite way, that maybe you're kind of better off starting middle of the road, adjusting your car during the race, and making it better at the end of the race than at the start of the weekend.
This is one of those tracks where, yes, I'm going to factor in qualifying and how we get it unloading, but I definitely agree with you, Elliot. This is one of those tracks too, especially as we go from day to night in this track. It is going to change, and like you got to be probably ready to get down live, right? Like maybe have a little bit of something set aside for maybe some Sunday action there. Going at 6 o'clock is always great for me because it's like, oh, dude, this is awesome. Like I can spend my whole Sunday outside doing what I need to do, then get back inside. So yeah, it's going to be a great Sunday, and excited to, potentially see some movers and some shakers, kind of like maybe Charlotte a couple years ago where Ross Chastain came from the very back.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a big chance of that. Couple more here. If you believe in numerology, the overtime races here were in 2006 and 2016, so maybe 2026.
It's been a while, so we haven't had a ton of overtime races this year, have we?
No, I don't think so. I think there's been some late restarts, but it's been a lot of, it's close to overtime, but it's actually just 2 laps to go, and it feels like it. So not a lot, but again, the numerology of it there. I think race to go to overtime was like plus 150 on Caesars, maybe worth a look. You look again, we haven't raced here in quite a while. 18 drivers in the field have never started a Cup race here. Wow. 19 drivers from that last race in 2019 are not going to be in the field. And you look at the points, we talked the last couple of weeks about just how far Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick are ahead of everybody. For the first time this year, somebody named Tyler Reddick is not the points leader. Denny Hamlin has a 1-point lead in the standings after Reddick's mechanical issues. If they need to have basically max point days. They need to have 60-plus point days to do it. But you could see both or either of them clinch chase spots as soon as this week. So it looks like Allgaier in the O'Reilly series. They are so far ahead. They could lock in their chase spot. as soon as this week. And that'll be something to watch the next couple of weeks too, where within the next 2 or 3 races, these guys are probably going to lock in and really be able to ramp up the fight for that regular season title.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. I've been waiting for like a 50% boost or something for Justin Allgaier to like just hit it. Like it's still around like plus 180 right now. Coming off the road courses, you kind of got a little bit of money back. So I've kind of been waiting to see if I could get something like plus 225 or whatever. But I think that's probably the best like future standpoint where I would be looking to get invested. Do you have anything that you're kind of like Jones and get down for from a Cup Series or O'Reilly Series perspective?
Man, with the season longs, it's like I've got plenty locked in. I've got Cup tickets on Hamlin, Larson, and Blaney, maybe some others. I don't have a lot in the lower series, and I feel like it's kind of, maybe I missed the boat because like Lane Riggs is plus 230 or something for a title now. I have a little bit on a Honeycutt title ticket. And Allgaier, you're right. I kind of need a boost. I don't feel too bad about it because I think it was like 2-1, if not lower, before the season started.
Yeah,
for Allgaier.
exactly.
So it's still kind of around there. So, man, it's just a low number. But again, I probably am thinking too much in playoff mode as to where, a couple bad weeks could really screw you and you could be eliminated. Allgaier will have enough of a boost. There's no road courses.
That's what I'm saying.
No one is happier to see an oval back this week than Justin Allgaier, by the way. Miserable couple of weeks for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just one of those deals where I just might need to eat it a little bit. And again, it's the same as the SVG outright. I mean, I parlayed them together and still got like barely over 2-1. If he's going to win the title, which he's probably going to win the title, you're still making money. So I really don't know what I'm doing there.
It would take a heater, bro. It would take like a smoke stew like fucking Chase type of heater to go out there and beat him right now.
I just don't see anybody in the O'Reilly series that can do that. I mean,
not with how Jesse Love's running.
None of the Gibbs guys. Jesse Love is out at RCR, so he's not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Bill doesn't have it in him. None of the other JRM guys. I don't think the Haas guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Sheldon Creed might be the
Sheldon Creed. Sheldon Creed could be the guy.
Sheldon
Creed could be the guy. I mean, he's won a title before in different series, but yeah. So I actually did cash out of I had a Bubba Wallace championship ticket I've been hanging on to. Obviously, I picked the wrong 23-11 guy to take because I think Reddick opened up this year like 20-something to 1. So
it's pretty long.
Yeah, but I got full money back from my Bubba Wallace 50-1 championship outright. It was still 50-1. So I'm like, yes, no, thank you. I'll take that. I'll take that little share of a unit back.
Yeah, the only title ticket I've cashed out of, Raja Karuth was 65-1 preseason. I have the number right here. I put 55 cents on it. I got a 25-cent cash out offer.
Okay. All right.
And I was like, you know what? I'd rather get the quarterback than lose 2 quarters and a nickel. But it was worth a shot being in the 88. So, but I do have, I forgot about this. My Blaney title ticket is almost 10-1 because I was able to boost it on MGM. I have a Denny Hamlin plus 650 that FanDuel is really
that feels pretty good now.
They're really starting to ramp up the cash outs, getting into
hold.
No, I'm going to hold because he's going to win the title. So who cares? But if he doesn't, I also have 6-1 on Kyle Larson with 100% profit boost at the end of it on MGM too. So Jesse Love, I don't feel great about it. 5-1 now. Eckes at plus 650 on the truck side. I don't feel great about that either.
Thank you.
But then I got down on Honeycutt 5-1. So I think it's going to be a Lane Riggs year, but I have the second best guy in the trucks. Yep,
so absolutely. Yeah, man, I like it.
It is nice to be crossing off those season longs for better or for worse. We're really starting to get down to the nitty gritty here. We're officially halfway done. Sonoma was the halfway point. So second half going to be exciting. Getting to the model, you mentioned a little bit about kind of Chris's breakdown, but I'll throw in the notes that he gave us because there's no Chicagoland history in the next gen era. He did include some career history, but again, only half the field is actually raced here. He put heavy emphasis on those primary comps you mentioned, Kansas, Vegas, and Homestead, the high tire wear, high-speed intermediates. So you put all that together, the two that was spit out at the very top, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson. I don't think anybody's shocked by that. But things do kind of get interesting below them. So you do want to sign up, Seth, for that IBT Racing family to get a full look at the model this and each and every week.
Yeah, it was really, really helpful. Super helpful. Just like, I kind of knew the comps I wanted to be looking at, but just kind of getting that confirmation bias and like getting some of these advanced metrics. Like, we're pulling average qualifying position from some of these tracks for this year, last year. and this year combined, like the whole loop data score, like it's incredible what Chris is doing over here. The momentum driver rating, that is a super helpful thing too. Like I honestly didn't look at Chicago at all. I know the stats are in there and they're weighed into the overall rankings. I could care less about what had happened here, but like having this information in front of me today just felt really, really confident. And like, look, I love betting the lower series, but having like, this is kind of, my brother to walk through battle with me a little bit, along with yourself and Chris and the entire IBT Racing family. It feels really nice to kind of have that extra gun there to pull out when I'm in a little bit of a jam.
Yeah, man, it is really those comp tracks. I do think it's going to race similarly to those that we've seen before, and in relatively recent weeks too with some of them. So, getting out of that road course swing back into traditional ovals here, we'll be able to get a little roll going again. But again, Seth, you can find that the betting model and lots of other benefits in the IBT Racing family. Of course, no asterisk mark driver of the week this week. Shout out, of course, to iFantasy Race as well. But we haven't raced there in a couple of years. I'm not going to go pull data from the 2019 race and tell you Quinn Houff was an asterisk mark because he finished 42nd.
Shout out. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, IBT Racing family, still right now, you can join for the rest of the season, $3.99 per month or $36 for the year for the premium version. That premium version gives you access to the betting model, our picks and predictions, and the head-to-head matchup contest. But if you just want to join for free, come join the conversation. That's free to join. Entry into some of our memorabilia giveaways as well. So looking forward to everything we have going on in the IBT Racing family. And of course, that's going to give you the football family, the PGA family, and the entertainment family as well. All these different communities with just a ton going on across them, Elliot, whether it is anything happening in the entertainment space with the Survivor Leagues, whether it's the box office predictions, whether it's the PGA one and done, or all the great stuff we have over there on the football front as well. So I'm excited for that and excited for the rest of the season, man. We're gonna lock in here because we got about only about a month and a half before we're back on the college gridiron here. So 1.5 months of NASCAR still being the cream of the crop, and then we got share that stage a little bit.
Yeah, it really comes around fast, and like you said too, plenty new going on in the entertainment space with IBT with that new show just launching this week. So really excited to see how that continues to grow as well.
Yeah, come on. We need the Mass Hole and the Big Aussie to come through. One of them two. Either way, we're making cash this weekend for second place. So that's what we're hoping for there. Come on, Webb. We need you, bud. We need you, Webb and Jeffrey. That's what we're pulling for this week. So go check out that episode though too if you just want to have a little bit of fun on Saturday. Because I don't know about you, Elliot, but I do love watching the Nathan's hot dog contest. I always have it on. Usually in the kitchen, I'm usually making something for a cookout or whatnot, and usually have a beer going by that time too. So love seeing a little glizzy get down there out on Coney Island.
It really is one of those beautiful American 4th of July traditions, just like a good old NASCAR race. And now betting on NASCAR, good way to spend your 4th of July as well. Going to be a fun weekend there. And like I said, it's hot outside, but we got the hot bets coming right at you in the parking garage props. We talked a little bit about this a few minutes ago before getting through the trends and everything like that. But the numbers this week on the books, it's really hard to go with some of those big time established favorites. The numbers are just a little too short for me because we think it's going to be traditional, but we don't know how traditional it's going to be. So your Hamlins, Reddicks, they're not really on my card either. The numbers are just too short.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? Like I honestly feel like I'm drinking less juice than usual, but I feel just as confident in some of these plays. And honestly, like we got to shout out Kalshi, right? Like I don't know if there's just less action going on there this weekend that people are able to kind of get down on some big numbers, but there's some chatter early this week in the IBT Racing family, even before our projections were out, that hey, we got some pretty interesting numbers in the placement props out there on Kalshi and in the outright that you got some opening line value that was really nice to have. So yeah, shout out to the prediction markets kind of giving us one more way to get out, because I think really like 3 out of my 5 Cup Series bets, or 3 out of 4 of them were all placed over there, and a handful of those O'Reilly Series ones were too. So yeah, just great to have different options out there, and great to even see like the score bet this week, Elliot. They had top 10s back for O'Reilly Series. Bet 365 had theirs up early too. I think it's just because like, hey, World Cup's going on, not really much else.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is a lot of people betting on the World Cup, maybe not as much line on the NASCAR stuff. And it is Kalshi where my first bet comes along. And this is where you start to get into the bettable value here was Kyle Larson, outright plus 684 over on Kalshi, anywhere from plus 550 to plus 650 on the traditional books. Also have his top 5 minus 110 over on BetMGM. And man, the whole talk about Larson. When's he going to win again? He hasn't won in 40-some races. I'm glad my hot take made it to Pocono, but now it's time to get serious. There's just no way the win is not coming soon for Larson. He's led too many laps this year. He has run too well. It's on its way. And we weren't looking too much at past Chicago, but driver skill is something you got to look at all the time. And you look at both of those last 2 races here, Kyle Larson coulda, shoulda, woulda won in both 2018 and 2019. And it really took kind of Herculean efforts from both Kyle Busch and Alex Bowman to get by that 42 car and beat Larson to the punch. You look at the what have you done for me lately, moving back into the future here, into the present day, top 5 in 5 of the last 6 races. And the only miss there was Nashville, where he was running top 5 on a late restart. Flat tire knocks him back into the mid-20s. So he's on a heater, still leading laps. And you look at some of the earlier year comps as well, finishes of 2nd, 5th, and 7th. It's just one of those deals, man, where it's not if and it's when for Larson. Chevy's getting stronger. Hendrick's getting stronger. He's at a track that he likes. Back into a little run of ovals. You need to put yourself in a position to get into that top 5 or 6, stay in there, and have a shot at the title in 8-some races. It's really time for Larson to heat up over the summer.
I think it is, man. I'm 100% there with you. I think Larson could absolutely take this race. I was looking at maybe finding a way to get invested with him. And the route I ended up going, Elliot, here for my first play of the night, HMS outright. Grabbed a plus 350 here at Kalshi. And dude, like looking around the different books, this was more close to going off at plus 250, plus 275, which a couple of years ago would have been a pretty good number even. But to get nearly, upwards of 4-1 here, I think this is a good deal because you look in the metric and like Kyle Larson is second and a close second, tied with Denny Hamlin coming into this race for that top spot. Well, William Byron's right there with Tyler Reddick pretty much, in that 3rd, 4th range. So, and then we're also getting Chase Elliott coming in here 8th in the projections this week. And like all these guys at the comp tracks have been bad fast, dude. Like these intermediates are where these guys are shining, right? Like I've been more worried about them kind of on these other style tracks, like Chase Elliott struggling all of a sudden on road courses again. Larson's back on road courses. And then like, do they have the flat out speed they need to win on some of these short tracks? I don't really think so. But when it comes to this style of racing right here, I think this is a good setup for the entire Hendricks team. So like even your boy Alex Bowman, like he's not like he's 17th in our projections. Like this isn't a terrible spot for him either. So especially with how he's just kind of been on it intermediates, for the last 2 years, I would say Bowman, like especially last year before, everything happened this year. Like, yeah, I love Alex Bowman. I love this entire Hendrick team this week as well.
That was the point I was going to make is you don't really have too many weeks where all 4 HMS cars are going to have a legit shot to win the race. And I feel like this is one of those weeks.
Well, that was it. I was like looking around and like, I was seeing Byron at good prices, 16-1 or so. And like, truthfully, part of it is like, hey, I just didn't want to go to the time to, have to click the button all 4 times. And I thought plus 355 compared to what I'm getting elsewhere is a good value, especially here on Kalshi where, hey, they go out and unload fast. There's a chance maybe I'm cashing out and maybe I do just, turn a little bit of a profit. And then I go back in on their individual outrights either during the race or before the race. So, I just think there's a lot of opportunity here, especially now that like these guys are kind of ripping in the preferred group right now. At least the guys we need to.
Yeah, and I do think Hendrick is going to go into the weekend thinking we really have a shot to win this race. There's almost no way we don't win this race, but we can't ignore what has happened this year, and it has been the Toyotas that have been the dominant force. But again, Hamlin didn't really love the number. Tyler Reddick, I don't know that I don't know that he has a lot of momentum or a lot of confidence.
I agree.
So where I led to was a little Chase Briscoe, the outright at 14-1 on FanDuel, top 5 at plus 185 over there as well. And for Briscoe, it's another one of those where you kind of feel like that win is coming sooner rather than later watching this 19 with the Gibbs cars. His confidence is the opposite of Reddick. Reddick ran last week, lost the points lead. Briscoe about outdueled the best road course racer in NASCAR history and came that close to beating him straight up at Sonoma after running second as well last year. I know it's a different track, but the what have you done for me lately is definitely big here for Briscoe. Like we said, Chevy's catching up, but Toyota is still the dominant factor, and I can very easily see a race like we had at like Charlotte or even Nashville for a little while, where it's just the Toyotas all up front. And they're all trading the lead for the better part of the race. Briscoe is going to be one of those guys that are up there. I feel like he's kind of run more consistent and has kind of eliminated a lot of the personal mistakes that he made earlier in the year. It didn't really help his average finish on some of the comps, but he does have a P3 and a P8 on comps earlier in the year. And for me, man, it's that whole mix of the JGR cars are going to be good. And I think Briscoe gives me the most favorable numbers with a chance to win. Ty Gibbs we'll talk about a little later. I have some of him on my card, and he's on your card as well. And yeah, it's Bell is a whole other different story with the wrist. He made it through the race. Shout out Marcus. Congratulations. You didn't have to have Brent Cruz sub in. Right now, I'm just feeling most confident about Briscoe when you combine confidence, speed, and numbers.
Yeah, and especially the price tag, right? Like Chase Briscoe is really interesting here. I feel dumb that I didn't go in on him last week. I had him in my fantasy lineup, and I pulled him at the last second for Carson Hocevar just because I can't get this guy right this year. Last year is one of the most profitable drivers to bet on. I think he won the Bettors MVP, or at least was in that conversation for us when we were having that award show a year ago. So yeah, but you gotta like what he's been doing. Like momentum average finish last 6 races coming in, he's 4th, right? Like top 5 in average driver rating in that span too. So there's a lot to like about Briscoe. Everything from the total speed rankings in the last 2 years has been really strong for this team. Same with like driver rating at comp tracks this year in particular. So like he's definitely in this conversation for me. And honestly, maybe a number I should be looking at, because again, I just feel like I've been getting him wrong a little bit too much lately, or just this entire season. I get him for a top 10, and it was early in the season especially, and then something crazy would happen, and then it just come to fruition.
All right, so before we dip back to the Chevrolet, since I kind of gave it away, let's talk your Ty Gibbs bet.
Yeah, so this was, shout out to our man Blaze Wolf. He put in the IBT Racing family earlier this week. Hey, like we're seeing Ty Gibbs out there at 3-1, which I wish I got the 3-1. I think he moved the line for me, but still got a plus 158. I've seen this for as low as minus 210, minus 150, the best at most books as well. But still on Kalshi right now, you're not going to get the plus 158 that I got, but even money. So still great value there. 11th in our projections, 73% IBT grade. And keep in mind, he has no Chicagoland data. So that's kind of going against him a little bit in that. But looking at comp tracks in particularly here, top 10 in 3 out of 3 of the primary comps, Elliott, 6.7 average finish, top 10 in 4 of the 6 overall comps, 5th in average running position at intermediates this season. So Ty Gibbs wheels up for him this weekend, plus 158 is a great number, and I would still take that even money if it's out there as well.
That is the risky part about Gibbs that you mentioned, is for a couple of these younger guys, your Reddicks, your Hendrick, your Christopher Bells, they don't have the Cup data, but they have the O'Reilly Series data. You don't even have that for Ty Gibbs. Did that stop me for betting his top 5 at plus 210 on FanDuel? No, it didn't. I think he is going to be fast. I just don't think he's going to be in contention up for the win. I think it is going to be more of that, veteran type of feel, to where even Briscoe has had a little more experience. Maybe he even was in that 2019 Xfinity race. I'm not entirely sure. But in any case, the Gibbs cars are going to be fast. But it's still not going to stop us kind of from going in the direction of Hendrick. You have a more logical top 10 bet, but I'll go with the more, I don't want to say illogical because it makes sense this week. I've been talking about, I'm picking my spots to bet Alex Bowman.
You were out a couple weeks ago.
But my entire thing was, for the most part, I'm off on the 48, except for a couple of tracks. And Chicagoland is one of those tracks where I'm going for it. The next 2 weeks, especially, like we'll talk more about them next week for the Echo Park show. But at 3-1 on Bet365, I got to get down on this top 10 bet. Something about the Windy City gets along with him. First career win here, 2019, won at the street course in 2024. And they're kind of back on track. It was a couple really, really dreadful weeks. Got the top 10 with the 10th place finish at Sonoma. And you look at some of the similar tracks this year. Of course, he missed Vegas, missed a couple of comp tracks with the Vertigo earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Texas, the most recent comp track where he wasn't driving with a broken car. They broke something in the gears at Charlotte. Ran 3rd at Texas and was in the top 10 all day. The week before, Kansas was not so good, but he's kind of a driver where, again, you got to pick your spots. He's got his tracks. That's always kind of been how he's been, even dating back to the 88 days, 2018, 19, and 20. Kid's got his spots, and he's got to have a little momentum on his side to get there. I think it could be a good couple weeks for Bowman before, I'm anticipating things will take more of a downturn, but the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have a little 48 on my card.
Yeah, I don't hate this at all. Like I said, like HMS is a team I'm trying to get invested with. I was trying to find some of these longer shot top tens. I think you have a couple good ones on your card this week, specifically this Bowman one. I like quite a bit as well. Hunter's saying Bowman plus 370 over there at DraftKings. So, Elliot can't use them because we'll say that.
I'll have to get signed up again. I bet it's past the statute of limitations.
Yeah, I bet so. I bet so. Young Elliott trying to out there get invested before he could. And Hunter said last year 19 was a cash cow for the top 5. It was, man. Even I miss it. I miss it every week. Briscoe, you could like Hamlin outright, Briscoe outright, Hamlin top 5, Briscoe top 5. You're probably hitting 3 out of those 4 bets for the last like 3 months of the season. It felt like.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's almost like the Allgaier top 5 in O'Reilly. There's some bets you're going to set your watch to. And of course, this guy that you got on the card next, a lot of times you can do that. He's starting to get into that little summer slump mode, but at the number you've got, this is a much more logical Hendrick Motorsports bet, I will say.
Yeah, I think he's honestly like getting back to where I trust him a little bit more, actually, because like I almost felt like in a way his summer slump kind of started maybe in like April, realistically. But William Byron top 10 here, plus 101 at Kalshi, 2.5 units. Part of this is the number, right? Like I've seen this down for at minus 200. Otherwise, best aside from the prediction markets, minus 139 at Rivers, which I was gladly going to take. And then I saw it sitting here at Kalshi at just above plus money. Absolutely, man. 4th in our projections, 81% IBT grade. He's finished top 10 in 3 out of the 3 primary comps, 6.3 average finish, the 4th best among the circuit here. And then 5 out of 6 on all the comps, right? So realistically, this is a guy I just really trust. 6 in average running position at intermediates this season. William Byron, I think it's wheels up for him right now. He's starting to get in that groove. I think this entire HMS team is as well. Like I like Chase, but Chase's stats actually at some of the intermediates were a little bit less consistent. His momentum's been actually worse than Byron's too, kind of coming into this week. So for me, like I thought William Byron that could get at plus 101 versus Chase at like minus 140 something. Yeah, I'll take it.
And the thing about Byron too is they kind of have to light that fire under their ass because it's been an inconsistent season to the point where if they have another bad race or two, they are in the cut line battle. And this is a team and a driver that thinks they should be in that title fight. So, of course, the summer slumps that you see from some of these Hendrick guys, none of them can really afford it. I mean, Chase is in a good spot. I guess Larson is too. But, I mean, nobody wants bad races. And for Byron, he's got the points thing to worry about. For the 48, it's not a consideration anymore. He's not making the chase. But for Byron, he's going to need a little summer hot streak here to be a title thought. And not the typical summer slumps that we normally see. Even money for a top 10, I love it because I think it's going to be the heavyweights, JGR and Hendrick, throw in Reddick maybe if you feel like it, that are going to be going for the win. But the back half of that top 10 can provide a little bit of fun. And I'm going to start with, again, a bet that has made me a lot of money this summer and last summer as well. We are back to the well on Legacy Motor Club. Their top 10s, Erik Jones, plus 250 and JHN at 9-1 over on FanDuel. First off, happy 89th birthday, Richard Petty.
Wow, the king.
Ambassador there, but the king is still his legacy. It's Jimmy Johnson's legacy, but it's the king's legacy too. FanDuel does not respect that legacy. If FanDuel is going to keep disrespecting these two cars, I'm going to keep making money off of it because these two guys, of course, the road courses were not perfect, but you look at the ovals, their summer stretch always has them heat up on ovals. They both were strong at Pocono, and they both were really strong at Michigan, too. I know those are longer ovals, not intermediates.
Yeah.
But some good runs this year. I mean, JHN wasn't the best spring for him, but you look at the 43 of Jones, finishes on the comp tracks, P10, P12, P13 this spring. A plus 250 for a top 10 for a guy who's run right around the back half of the top 10, front half of the top 15 on the comps. You know, Darlington, I think, was the 10th. And then you're like Kansas and Texas and whatnot. You factor in heating up, having momentum on your side, being happy to get back to an oval. I'm very okay with the 9-1. Of course, it's less likely. That's why it's a 9-1, not a plus 250. But give me both the legacy guys. Not one that I parlayed, of course. I don't think they're both going to be top 10. One of them, though, I like it for sure.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you what. Momentum driver rating, last 6 races for Erik Jones. That is 2 road courses in there.
Yeah.
Fourth for Erik Jones. Like, he's been running really good, man. And this is a track I didn't think he was going to get past Logano in the in-season, and he defied it again, dude. And, yeah, this is the number that you get down at on JHN for this. And I think it's the right type of number to play, right? Like, he's not high up in the projections, but he doesn't have any Chicagoland data to go off of, so that's not going to help him at all. And really, it just feels like from an entire season perspective, like he's slowly picked it up, and I feel comfortable where this is a guy who's 18th in driver rating momentum. Same stat I just gave for Erik Jones over the last 6 races. Didn't have the best run at road courses. His intermediates have been, very much worse than Erik Jones this week. I think that's why he comes in 27th in projections rather than Erik Jones, who comes in 17th or 16th, excuse me. So yeah, but I think this is the way to play him. If you're going to play, throw a half unit on each, throw a quarter unit on each, and that's probably the play. So this will be something, again, I'm going to consider adding to my card. I don't know if I'm going to add it, though. I need to add it pre-flop here because I don't want to happen what happened to Pocono, and then I'm sitting there in plus 130, plus 150 the next day on JHN. Erik Jones is minus money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that'll happen, but yeah, for JHN, it's just a sprinkle. Jones a little heavier unit share, so we'll see kind of where it comes out. We do have a couple more cup bets. We're going to talk about matchups when we get to the matchups contest. For now, though, we've talked a lot about Chevy. We've talked a lot about Toyota. Haven't touched on Ford a lot. You've got a top Ford bet to round out the main cup card.
Yeah, it's so wild. DraftKings, like the one market they actually price like super fairly is top Ford, like every single week. And Chris Buescher this week, no exceptions, plus 360 for that top Ford to be that top pony. I'm going 0.7 of a unit on this. So lower unit allocation than I was on my Gibbs and my Byron placements there. But he's been top Ford Elliott 3 out of 6 times this season on all of our comps. And then looking at those direct comps, those top 3, 9th in average finish as well. So you like what he's been doing at this style of track on intermediates as a whole, 6th in total speed ranking, 7th in average running position as well. So I've seen this going off around plus 225, plus 250. I only saw it one place above 3-1, and this was a spot here all the way up at plus 360 at DraftKings.
For Buescher, man, it was kind of weird how uncharacteristically, like he was un-Chris Buescher-like at Sonoma. They didn't have a good run at all. Really killed a couple of my bets for sure. But yeah, RFK, again, it's the Penske RFK battle for the top Fords this year. And more often than not, it's either Blaney or it's one of the RFK guys.
Yeah, occasionally like Zane Smith can get in there, but it's not like super common. But like this is kind of how I want to bet Buescher right now, Elliot, if that makes sense, because the same thing that happened to you last week, that's what happened to me at the Glen, which he's even better at the Glen than he is Sonoma usually. Yeah. So for me, like I'm just like, I want to be invested with him still because he comes in super high in our projections, right? Like he's all the way up in 6, but he was 4th last week, right? And he's just kind of underperforming expectations at certain tracks. So that's why I think we have to tiptoe. It's still a good driver, I think, to have on your card, but I'm going to have a lower unit share and try to get a higher return rather than like smack down 4 units again for the top 10 like I did up there in the Glenny.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is the way this year's gone for Ford and just how good Toyota and now Chevy have been. You look at the top 10, you could have all 4 Hendrick cars run top 10, and you could have all 4 Gibbs cars run top 10.
Maybe Aspire.
Yeah, José Suarez up there.
Yeah.
Maybe Corey Heim goes and runs top 10 again.
Maybe a legacy.
Yeah, maybe one of the legacy guys. I got to throw in Erik Jones for 10. So there's no room for a Ford there in the top 10. So Buescher could run 13th and still reasonably be the top Ford, plus 360. DK, man, you're right. I'm going to have to get back in on DK. I've noticed that a little bit. That there's a couple of books I haven't looked at quite as much. I've bet way less on Bet Rivers this year. I had Fanatics deleted from my phone for like 3 months. Just because I was having weird login issues last year, and then people are throwing out insane matchups. So, but it's one of those things where, of course, I look at the prediction markets and 5 or 6 other books, but man, the DK numbers, the Fanatics wild matchups, I got to expand my horizons a little bit more here again.
Well, yeah, and you're talking to the guy, and I'm sure yourself, like we both probably have access right now to what 6, 7, 8 books, I think as a whole. But always having more options and more outs is definitely a good idea, especially because like you start to learn on these different books, like, hey, if we're placing top 10, top 5 bets, we're probably going to 3-6-5 unless we find something out at the prediction markets. And then like top Ford, I don't know why, but DraftKings always super easy. And then I know like I'm probably gonna get some of my matchups, best odds, maybe Caesars, maybe 3-6-5. But then also usually like a lot of my O'Reilly and truck odds that I'm getting down on come from Rivers. So it's just kind of shopping that around. My Sunday bets usually happen at Rivers too, because I get boosts there. So that's always the great thing of just having these different outs. It's like back in the day, you had to have, you had one bookie and you had one bookie only. And then you could start going to the casinos to place your bets. So it was like, you had your one casino and you had to drive there. How lucky are we that, we can really dictate what numbers we're getting down on. Even when we started doing this, dude, we didn't have nearly as access to as many books as we do now. Like 365 wasn't a thing.
I think it was it was Caesars, it was Barstool, which was Barstool, and ESPN Bet, and now theScore. And there's like Betfred or something, and like
Betfred was ripping for a little bit. Yeah, our friends from the UK, and then you had like FanDuel and DraftKings, but like FanDuel and DK back in the day barely had anything.
They weren't really bets.
Yeah, they didn't have much for the other than the outright market. So you were really kind of, you were hoping to get some top 10, some matchups, and that's kind of it. And yeah, so some people have come to play, and having those prediction markets again it's just such a weapon as well, because there's some like, do yourself a favor when you're on the shitter this week and just like go peruse the top 20 market there on Kalshi right now, because it's interesting. Like Todd G's out there like plus 160. I don't hate. He's run like dog shit on this style track, but his recent form is pretty good, right? So but even if you want to drink the juice, like Ross Chastain's minus 183 right now for a top 20. I looked at it, couldn't do it because he's also run like dog shit on this style track. But yeah, they even had like a minus 183 top 10 on Kyle Larson that I thought about. I have a different Larson bet that, I was able to get invested with him. But if I didn't, I was going to probably just drink the juice on a top 10 there. So just a lot of fun different ways. And I hear they're also coming out with like Kalshi style parlays too. I haven't figured out how to work that yet.
Okay.
If anyone figures that out, let me know. I know I saw like a news release about it, but I don't know if it's actually a feature now you can use or not.
All right, there's my project for this week. I'll get that figured out.
There you go.
The thing with the O'Reilly top 10s are like this too with the top 20 is you kind of need to get the market set and not have all the numbers like minus 52.77 or whatever.
The action. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to get the numbers to get set there. But I mean, we talk about how things used to be. There wasn't a whole lot of Xfinity O'Reilly numbers either. And now, I mean, I love the amount of O'Reilly bets you got on your card this week. And it all starts with Allgaier, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course, man. Yeah. So first, like, I'm going up against Connor Zilisch. This is probably a matchup I would have considered for the matchup contest, and I still actually don't hate. But I thought I thought having him just matched up against Zilisch in the first place is kind of a mistake. And I think at minus 125 from Caesars is even a bigger mistake. So I'm down 1.5 on this. He's 3-1 against Zilisch this season. Only time he didn't beat him was that weird Charlotte race where Gator led like 30 plus laps, and all that tomfoolery happened late in that race. So as a whole this season, though, on comps this year, we have Gator 7.8 average finish. That's 5 races. And then Zilisch has only raced 4 races, 10.8. So I mean, Gators almost has a better average finish on the whole season than Zilisch does. Like, he's just unstoppable. Zilich's car really disappointing up in Long Pond, a place that we knew he won. And like, Gator's a guy who's raced here before, right? In this car. And like, if I trust anyone here in a matchup against Zilisch, a guy I don't like to fade a lot. We did it last week in the Cup Series. It wasn't fun, but we did, and we made money from it. And if there's a guy I trust on the outright, like me, Elliot, I've been top 5s on this guy. Minus 150, minus 130, minus 125, pretty much all season long. Just forget that. Give me the outright here, plus 351 at Kalshi for a unit. This guy's a workman, dude. Like if anyone's in the sim practicing this track, figuring out, it's Dale and it's freaking Gator, man. I'm telling you what, dude. So 5 wins this season, 2 on the comps. I just trust any team in the garage no more than I do Justin Allgaier and this 7 JRM team. So they also had a JRM outright. I don't know if you saw that, minus 180 that I considered. Okay. Which, like, honestly, a great bet too, because if it's not Gator, it could be Chase, it could be Zil. I mean, even Quapple could come out like with his first. So
hey, Sammy Smith has won multiple O'Reilly Series races too. You never know.
Yeah, so it's not a bad number, but for me, I was like, I'm just gonna find other ways to get invested with, because like we did see Taylor Gray win one of these intermediate comps this season, just one of them. The other 4 though have been JRM, one of them Larson, one of them Ross, and then two Gator.
Yeah, and for Allgaier, it's not just having that experience here. It's that he's got a win here, 10 plus years ago. Not in a JRM car, but in a Turner car. When Turner cars were winning that much. It wasn't like when they would have, Casey Kane and Jason Leffler running the Great Clips 38, or Kyle Busch, sometimes his nationwide races back in the day would be in like the Dollar General 32 for Turner.
Yeah,
This was Turner when they were about done for, and Allgaier in the Brand 31 winning races there. So given the best car in the field, championship under his belt, all that he's done in this series since that win at Chicagoland he had, I think it was like 2015. Well, Gator probably is the way to go here.
Mhm.
Still some other ways to go with placement props. We got some top 10s, but let's talk about your top 5 quick first.
Yeah, again, instead of just going with a Gator, like super short top 5 or anything like that, I took the outright. I took the matchup, and then like we have to get in best with Chase Elliott, dude, for a top 5 -110 to score. I shopped this around. I've seen this at -150, -120. So I was really happy to get it, nearly at what an NFL pick'em price is there for 1.5 units. Top 5 in 5 of his last 6 O'Reilly Series races. That's all you have to know. A guy who's I'm dang sure raced in this car in Chicagoland Speedway. So for me, like the equipment's better now than it ever has been for these like Hendrick guys coming down, because I think they just have such a good relationship with Dale and this entire JRM organization that it's better than almost having kind of the one. Like it's better having Day in that like weekly spot, because there's just a lot more continuity there, and then they can kind of just slide right in here to a great piece of equipment. So yeah, really, really happy to get Chase Elliott top 5 here for 1.5 units.
Yeah, and with Chase, I mean, you talk about the 4 Hendrick guys. Kyle Larson is going to win in anything because he's a badass driver. William Byron, his driving style probably fits the next gen a little better. Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman, they had more success when the Cup cars raced exactly like the O'Reilly cars. So you put Chase Elliott down in here, like you said, top 5 of his last 6. I think you're going to see him probably run more like Larson, top 5 lead laps, have a shot for the win.
And you're getting way better numbers than Larson.
That's the thing. Larson, this number, what, -250 if this was Larson? Top
-300 maybe. Yeah, you can only bet top 3s and outrights on him pretty much when he goes to O'Reilly.
Yeah, so good number on Chase. Definitely going to have to consider this one when I go back and make some more O'Reilly bets. So far, all I have on the card for the O'Reilly series, we've got a couple of team top 10s. For me, it may not be Leif Erickson day, but I'm all in on the Vikings. Viking Motorsports, good old Crocker and the Poopsicle, Parker Retzlaff and Anthony Alfredo. Retzlaff +250 over on Bet365. Alfredo +424 over on Kalshi. Man, I can't say enough about how impressive this team has been. I mean, we know both these guys have talent, but this was a team, they're still finding their footing, but the ownership group putting a lot of money into this to get better. They bought a lot of the old colleague equipment. So, of course, Chris Rice was super happy about them getting that double, the great run they had at San Diego and Sonoma, because they're the old colleague cars that they're running. You look at Retzlaff, 3 top 5s and 9 top 10s this season overall.
Wow.
The kid's been top 10 in almost half the races this year. And you wouldn't have expected that. We know he's got talent. He's really showing it this year. And that includes on the comps, P5 at Texas, P8 at Darlington, which I'm counting as a comp because high tire wear, big time driver's track, 12th at Vegas. So that's pretty close. And then you remember Kansas as well. Carson Kvapil has that flip on the first lap. That took out Retzlaff too, who was starting in the top 5. And we don't know what that day could have been for a kid like Retzlaff. So 99 obviously leading the way here. But the 96 of Alfredo too. The season didn't start that well, but top 10 2 of the last 3 weeks, and it should be 3 top 10s in a row. He got caught up in that mess that Sam Mayer started at San Diego. Has some good runs as well in the comps. P12 at Texas and Darlington, P13 at Charlotte. Silly as the graphic is, I am dead serious about how strong Viking has been, and I like these numbers a lot for one or both of these kids to get in the top 10.
Yeah, and this is a story we've been tracking for a couple months now, Elliot, and it went from like, okay, Parker Retzlaff is showing some speed to Parker Retzlaff is showing consistent top 10 speed to now like, okay, this team actually has figured something out, right? Because Alfredo also showing top 10 speed. You mentioned had the great run out there in San Diego before an untimely exit there. Comes back the next week. I was looking at going right back to Parker Retzlaff for a top 10 last week as well. And then like it was one of those situations on Kalshi where anything like
I tried to bet it at like somewhere around this +250 number right before practice started, and it wouldn't let me bet it. The number was changing and getting juiced that quick.
It was just, yeah, like anything over a couple dollars I was trying to put on it. It was just moving and it was too liquid that it was going from plus 180 to closer down to like minus 180. I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. But I guess I should have, because money is money, right? And a broke man never, or a man never, a rich man never went broke taking a profit, right? So
you only pay the juice if you lose. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I don't hate this at all. I think it's a good approach. And I really appreciate your time on that graphic too. Very creative, my friend.
So that one's the sillier one, but a couple of serious guys who are going to be more in contention for this title and race wins. I mean, don't get me wrong. I could very easily see Retzlaff winning a race by the end of the year, but these are two guys over at the Haas factory team that they're wanting to chase down Lil Gator for this title, and they're both wanting to run top 10 this weekend.
Crazy numbers, like some weeks you go in here into the top 10 market for O'Reilly's and it's just juice beyond repair, right? And like, I feel like you and I have both cut down our Riley series betting a little bit because of that, right? Because this is usually one of the more fun markets to play since it's really come around. You know, I remember before we had top 10s O'Reilly's, like we were like top 5s will do. And now it's just like every week we're betting the top 10s, which are just a little bit more fun, a little bit easier to get one across the finish line there. But Sheldon Creed, top 10, minus 125 at Bet365. I'm down 2.5 units. Out of the comp tracks we've been to 5. He's finished in the top 10, 4 of those. Average finish of 9.6, and one of those is a do not finish at 32nd place. So Sam Mayer, even a better number, minus 108. This one's at Kalshi, down 1.5 units. Everywhere else on the books, he's like minus 150. So I thought this was a misprice over there. 3 out of 5 races this season, he's been inside the top 10 for comps. And in the races that he did not finish top 10, Elliott, he led 44 combined laps, led in both those, just had some bad luck on the day. Had a 5.3 average finish in those other 3 comp races. Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, these are guys who have made us money, honestly, this season. And you know me, I usually did not like to bet Sheldon Creed, but he's been delivering this season. Sam Mayer delivered for us big out in Pocono, almost cashed you a nice 19-1 outright. So, you know, similar track. And like, I just think they're being disrespected. And like, if there was a team to go out there and beat JRM this weekend, I think it's these boys right here, man.
And we know they have speed too. I mean, the most recent oval was out at Pocono. They both were fighting for the win, and unfortunately, they both stepped on each other's toes.
And they showed maturity too, right? Like
that was the other point I was going to mention, was they both are not, you know, they weren't playing silly games, or Mayer didn't fire off with some bullshit little baby response. And Creed accepted what he did and was like, well, we'll have to do it. You know, sorry, I screwed up. We both were going for it. Mayer was like, yeah, we both were going for it. We know we can do better in the future, and we just got to keep running better and putting together good runs. So they both are in a good headspace. They both have fast enough cars. And I feel like the track type really suits these guys. And all in all, getting these numbers with all that in their favor, it's just as good as the Viking bets.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel really, really good about it. And, you know, I think I had Sam Mayer going to Pocono, minus 120 or something, minus 130. So to get him nearly even money, yeah, chef's kiss right there. So, you know, love the prediction markets, love the Bet365s continuing to roll out that market, because it really is the most approachable each and every single week when we get fair value.
Yeah, I really am going to have to take a good hard look at this one too. All right, so there's the main bets. Now we got our little fun segments, and that starts with our head-to-head matchups contest. Like you said, man, last week wasn't my week. I had Zane Smith over Hocevar, and that did not pay off. But I believe I'm still up front there. I don't know if we ever updated leaderboard in here, but
yeah, we'll get it pulled up here. But go ahead and bring the matchups up first for what you want to get down at.
Yeah, man. So this week, you know, I'm not going in-season tournament. I'm not going lower series. I'm going with the good old-fashioned bread and butter cup matchup. But it's one you wouldn't expect to see, which is a good thing, especially when I know I can make money on it. Daniel Suarez over Corey Hyman, even money over on Caesars. And I understand why this number was put out there. Corey Hyman gets the boost of, hey, I just won my first cup race in my last start. My car is good. My team is good. I'm feeling good. He's going to get a boost to be the favorite in this matchup. Suarez gets the decline of, I kind of ran like crap on the road courses. It's been, it's been a whole 6 weeks since he won a race. He's somehow the underdog in this matchup, which I don't understand at all. This is such an obvious pick here. The 7 car, still P9 in the standings. A top 10 finishes at Darlington and Texas, and he won the Coke 600. Of course, it was 20 laps shorter than it would have been without the weather, but he earned it. It wasn't a rain-shortened bullshit win. It was I went and earned it. And when the finish line, when the checkered flag dropped, he was the leader and he earned the win. I don't think that one good race at San Diego versus a bad race at San Diego should have these numbers be this different. There's no way Heim beats him unless Chevy is just way, way, way off, or he runs into fuckery. And fuckery can happen anywhere, anytime. Otherwise, though, Suarez over Heim. I've got coin on this as well, and it's in the matchups contest. Just seems like an absolute slam dunk.
I'm a little worried for you, which it makes me happy for you as well, because I'm trying to chase you down here in this head-to-head contest. But I'll tell you what, Elliot, like you actually look total speed rankings at comp tracks between 2025 and 2026 for Corey Heim. He is 9th. You look at total speed rankings in that span.
He's cherry picking his starts, and Suarez was running in a dying trackhouse team last year.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Average finish though at primary comps this year for Corey Heim, 17th. So like he's up there right now. Suarez definitely going to be ahead of that, right? But not by that much. He's up by like 5 spots on him in that metric too. So it's closer than it appears. I will say that. And I remember Denny said, and this is Nashville, so not a true comp, right? But Denny said that Corey like drove past him and was like, holy cow, like, and that was a race I think Denny won. So it was like Corey has legit speed right now. So like, I wouldn't want to poke the bear. Suarez has not been as profitable as he was maybe 3 weeks to a month ago. But I agree with the concept that like he should not be the underdog in this matchup. I completely agree with you. I just think it's going to be closer than you think.
It's one of those how quickly we forget. Like the last 4 weeks have all kind of been weirder tracks. We don't really go to another Michigan style track this year. Pocono's
I like him. He burned me last week.
But Pocono's a triangle. We were racing on a naval base and then a road course. We're done with road courses. We're done with triangles, and we don't have.
What did he do? Was that pit road penalty or a loose tire or something? That because he had to pit and then he just was never the same last week. I think he finished a couple laps down too, and like that sucked.
I don't remember what happened there, but yeah, it wasn't a great week. But road course versus intermediate, where he's won on a comp, I'm going Suarez. It's a no doubt. This is no doubter for me.
Okay, fair enough.
We can clip that and play that next week when Heim runs third and Suarez crashes. But
yeah, right.
Anyway, your matchup I feel like has just as much of a boom or bust potential, so I feel all right.
Yeah. So last week I took a super juice Chris Bell not to finish top 10, and like I really debated like, do I just throw more on the Brad Keselowski top 20 or do I try to fade Bell again? And it worked a couple of weeks in a row. I got too greedy because he did finish top 10, and that was a juicy payment I had to fork over there. But Kyle Larson minus 135 against Chris Bell. I love this. I'm down for 3 units on it. Larson won 4 of 6 races against Bell at the comps this season. Larson second in comp average finish. Bell is 10th. Larson 6th in average starting position. Bell 8th. Average running position at 2026 intermediates. Larson 2nd. Bell 4th. And this was all before Bell had a broken hand, man. Like, I understand that he looks good last week. Maybe he's past that and we can't fade him like we were trying to. I just think you look at the metric, and this isn't even weighing the broken hand, and Larson's number 2, Bell's down at number 9, and it's a pretty big gap here. Like Kyle Larson, but you got the outright on him. You obviously believe in him. Yep. And while Bell, I think, could still be a top 10 car, I think he's a 6th to 10th place car right now. At best, I think that's kind of the upside. I think Larson is going to be inside that top 5. So this is actually my heaviest bet of the weekend, down for 3 gainers for me on a little young money here.
Don't get me wrong. I do like Larson over Bell, but just to play devil's advocate, if JGR is going to still be better than Hendrick, Bell over Larson wouldn't surprise me. And, you know, the old joke about Kyle Larson is he's not young money. He's hung money because he steps on it. And I can just as easily see Larson leads 180 laps and wins the race, or Larson does something stupid at the beginning of stage 3 and destroys he and the 19 car or something, and you know, kind of blows it for him and still continues that winless streak. But that's playing devil's advocate. Obviously, if I have an outright on a guy, I'm not going against him in a matchup.
Yeah, completely understand there. Let's take a little lap around the leaderboard, Elliot, where you're still in first place with 12. Blaze Wolf and Lars coming back, man. Blaze and Lars, they've been trucking all season long, and now they're within 1 of the lead at 11. Chris 10, myself 10, and Kyle with 9. What was the stat that Chris threw in the Discord earlier this week, Elliot? Something like he started out like what, 10 of 11 or 9 of 10 or something, and then he's gone
I've got it pulled up here. Chris started out 9 for his first 11 and then has been 1 for 8 since.
Oh man, that is stinky, dude. That's how the sport goes, and gambling on the sport also goes,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah,
can
it
get
really is.
streaky.
No doubt. But hey, I'm hoping the big streaks continue for that top of the leaderboard there. I know that everyone's kind of breathing down my neck, and it's nice we're all pretty close together. There hasn't been a runaway because it's going to make the second half of the year really exciting.
Oh yeah, we got plenty more time left. 12 of 18 though, Elliot. Not bad on you. You're hitting pretty well there. So glad to hear that. A couple comments I wanted to get to too. Hunter saying I'm in on Carson Quapple. It doesn't matter what car he's in. Top 10 is always the play. Yeah, I didn't see what his top 10 play was on 365. I did see on Kalshi was like minus 180. I was like, I can't do that. But Carson Quapple, another guy who's been on pretty good on comps this season. Any thoughts on your boy out there?
Man, I agree with him. I think, didn't he run top 10 again in the 91 at Sonoma?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what car he's in. And he's another guy too, man, that it's agonizing. Like, when is that first win going to come? It's got to be sooner rather than later, right?
I would have never said Zilisch got a win before he did, right?
No way. But sometimes that's the way it goes. And hey, we probably should be sitting here saying, oh, Quapple got his first win at San Diego, but Taylor Gray pulled a Taylor Gray.
Yeah.
And then good old Big Country had to come save the day and pull some Austin Hill shit. But anyway, Quapple definitely always a good bet. Going to have to take a look at what his numbers are.
Yeah, Eric's saying here as well. Suarez versus Heim, pretty interesting. Suarez being underdog makes me wonder what I'm missing. Suarez should be the favorite. Yes, I do agree with this. I just think I think it's closer. You're right. I think it's closer. I would throw it out at a pick 'em, honestly, or like minus 120 versus minus 110. Suarez the favorite, Heim the underdog, maybe.
It's just going in too high on Heim. I don't think it's any sort of guarantee. I don't think it's a guarantee he runs top 20. He very well could go out there and get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that for Suarez. Normally, I would kind of say the opposite, but Suarez has continued to prove me wrong at the comps this year and run way stronger than I thought he would. The guy won the fucking Coke 600 a month ago, and now he's the underdog to Corey Heim in a matchup. It just doesn't translate for me.
I know, dude. I'm telling you, Corey Heim's been good on these comps, dude. He's been really good. Marcus, of course, saying he's going Chris Bell over Larson. Fair enough, my friend. Fair enough. And then Erik weighing in on the Larson matchup, saying another interesting one. Hard to fade Bell, but Larson does seem stronger. Absolutely. And looking for a way to fade Zilisch. So I gave out that Xfinity or O'Reilly Series matchup against Allgaier. Like that one. He's also matched up against SVG, which like I don't have a dog in that fight. I'd actually probably lean SVG based on the finishes and average running position at these tracks, Elliot. But
I do guess that Zilisch will be kind of decent in the metric also. I don't know if he's going to quite be in Group 2 because his point situation's so bad, but you run 7th, usually you're going to be in the better half of the groups.
So a couple interesting stats here. SVG 11th in average qualifying position at primary comps this season. Zilisch 6th to last. So I guess I'd be 30th. And then average finish at primary comps this season. Zilisch 2nd to last, 35th. SVG 32nd. So like if you want to be, Erik, I couldn't tell you what book that was. I think I want to say maybe it was 365 or Caesars, one of those that I think had some interesting ones. Maybe Bet Rivers, check those out. But yeah, there was that one. If you want to sweat out something like with an SVG, but I think it was maybe at a pick'em or maybe SVG quite slight dog, which I don't hate. So yeah, Zilisch fade. I think that's still kind of the move. Like rest season, I think that's is that what we do?
Maybe. I do see I got the qualifying orders up here. Zilisch is also in Group 2 along with SVG.
Okay.
And last out, top of the metric this week is Ty Gibbs. So that could be the Gibbs top 5, top 10 numbers that we threw out earlier.
Yeah.
If he's the last car out, he's starting no worse than 5th, I feel like.
Yeah.
If the Gibbs car is going to have the speed. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
All right, man, let's rock and roll with one of our new favorite parts of the show, Fantasy Spin, to close us out.
Yeah, shout out to Fantasy Spin, man. They've been a great partner to work with. If you're looking for a different kind of daily fantasy experience, the Spin lets you spin your lineup, make your picks, and compete in tournaments based on real player performances. Like a slot machine, you can absolutely hit the jackpot with Fantasy Spin. It's a unique game that it's going to combine the skill of drafting a DFS lineup, right? And but it's also going to give you that captivating gamified experience. Enter contests and spin your DFS lineup for a chance to win big. Whether you're playing for free or for cash, the Spin has you covered. check the link in the description. Use the promo code IBTNASCAR. Again, this promo code IBTNASCAR. Deposit just $10 or at least $10, and you can play at least one tournament, and you'll get $30 in bonus play. Support the program. Check out Fancy Spin, and let's make some noise the rest of this racing season. Elliot, I was so upset because last week I finished 14th in the main event for the Cup Series, and I had Daniel Suarez who got like 30th and got me no points. But the rest of my team was rock solid. I finished 6th, right outside of the money on the O'Reilly Series, and that was with me passing up Anthony Alfredo at one point for someone else. I was like, oh, I should have kept Alfredo. So, yeah, regrets. But no regrets as they, or regrets. You remember that? We are the Miller.
Yeah, no regrets, not even a letter. But that's the beauty of the spin, man, is we get to rebound this week and get a whole new lineup, rock and roll.
Yeah, let's fire it up.
Spin, pick, win.
All right.
I feel like our lineups have kind of been on a roll here, so I'm excited to see if we can keep that going this week.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, we've been right outside the money. The first couple times we did this, I think 2 out of the 3, I was in the money. So we need to get back there. But let's keep it rolling here. Again, we're in the free to play. You can play cash games if you're in a state that has it. Go to fancyspin.com. I think you can find all their information right over there. Let's go ahead, Ellie. Let's see what the first spin is here. Oh, wow. I mean,
Ty Gibbs.
Yeah,
right.
That's it.
It ended pretty strong, but yeah, nobody there. I do have a Stenhouse top 10 at like 12-1, a little sprinkle on it, because there's some of those races in the summertime.
I agree.
Where it's just Stenhouse and Magic Mike Kelly over there kind of fall ass backwards.
Night races too.
It's always the night races on weird drivers tracks where Stenhouse really shows out, but not enough to pick him here.
No, absolutely not. Let's go again. We got 5 more spins. Austin Hill, Michael McDowell, Austin Dillon, Bowman, and Chastain.
Man, I don't know that you lock anybody here. If you lock anybody, it's probably the 48, and I don't feel that confident about locking him in.
Yeah, I got 3 spins left. I think I can keep spinning, right? Like I like Bowman, but Bowman's like an average, like top 15.
Yeah, it's like the 71, the 48, and the 1 are all like 15th place guys. I'm not wasting a lock on a 15th place guy.
Yeah, me either. Let's keep it rolling here. Austin Hill, Todd Gilliland, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson. Okay.
Larson. All right, great.
Where's Kez coming in the projections too? Like Kez might not be.
That is your old school driver's track. He's won here twice back in his Penske days. Maybe we lock the 5 and the 6, knowing that we can unlock one of them with 2 spins left.
Yeah,
I mean we've got Hill twice, we've got Austin Dillon.
That's what
twice.
I'm saying. We only have 2
spins are
left.
not super happy with us right now.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna
lock the 5 and the 6.
Yeah, this is probably usually we get like a banger spin the first 1 or 2. That we're in a desert for the spins right now. Let's see what else we got here. Let's give her one more rip. Tyler Reddick, Erik Jones, and Bowman. Wow. Well, okay, so now we got to make decisions. Definitely Reddick over Kez for sure. I think I'll lock in Erik Jones over Kez too at this point, or you know what I mean, or even Bowman. What do you think?
That's tough. Man, I'm almost okay sticking with Brad, but it's just Brad has worse luck. He kind of has been stepping on it lately. Jones, I have a lot of faith in, but that's tough. I feel like the 43, 48, and 6 are all kind of on the same level. You have to lock the 45, but
funny enough, they're 16th, 17th, and 18th in our projections, Elliot. It's like they're literally right there. And like Brad does have a couple top 10 finishes at some of these comps this season, and like I feel like his top 10 number is probably shorter than the rest of this gang, and probably for good reason too. So yeah, let's lock Reddick, and let's see what else we get here. Yeah, Erik Jones, and I like this has turned out great though for how this started, because at the very beginning,
if this could be our lineup, that'd be awesome. I wish we were out of spins, but we got one more to roll with.
Oh baby, here we go. Just bring back Erik Jones and Bowman. Here we go. Here we go.
Let's go higher than that. We got better. Yeah, I was gonna say,
what a lineup.
Set your expectations higher, because both of them
what a
probably
lineup.
better than what we got. So
what a lineup, folks. Wow, what a lineup.
Dude, you're like, oh, bring them back. No, I got both the guys I have an outright on. We got a top 5 and top 10 apiece on Gibbs.
We haven't said anything
we haven't talked about
14th.
Reddick.
Yeah, 14th.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Priest or Reddick, and they're both going to be solid. So this is a solid lineup. I'm very happy with this.
We're gonna rip a little O'Reilly's here, I think too. I was
hoping you would.
All right, yeah. Let's see what we got here. Does this race have a real name? Because no one is calling it by its real name. What is?
I think the sponsor is the Cuervo 300.
Okay, people must not like Jose or putting an alcohol name or something, maybe, because I've seen it on different sports books.
Maybe
no one's calling it that.
Yeah, and I think it also was like a late announced sponsor. Like it wasn't one of those that you had for a while or anything. I think it was just in the last 10 days they announced that. So, but you're right though. I mean, the books, they may not want to throw out an alcohol sponsor. I know when there's like sometimes the O'Reilly race is like the BetMGM 300, and of course no other book is going to put the BetMGM 300. So it might be one of those deals.
Yeah, come spin against us, guys. We want to see where you stack up. I love looking at the leaderboards and seeing a bunch of people I know. So come on out, spin with us.
And I'll be throwing in a personal lineup here too. So
yeah, Maya Snyder, Brandon Jones, Cole Custer, Ryan Ellis. I mean, we got Gator.
I feel like we got to lock Gator and Brandon Jones. Another bet that I have that I didn't touch on, Brandon Jones over Corey Day at even money over on Caesars. Jones did the tire test, driver's old school track. Corey Day going to be fast. A guy like Jones who's really strong on comps? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't hate Custer either, but
not to lock him yet though. I don't think.
Not yet, too early. Parker Retzlaff, William Swallow,
Jim, Zilisch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and lock Parker and Zilisch.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of think we lock them both, and if we have to unlock somebody in the coming rounds, we can.
I think I'd rather unlock Brandon Jones than Parker.
Yeah, Jones or Zilisch over Retzlaff for sure.
Yeah. All right, here we go. 2 more spins. Oh, Chase Elliott.
We got to get Chase
Brandon Jones. Unlocking Brandon Jones. Lock Chase. Wow, what a lineup. We got three JRM cars in here right now and Slim Jim. This is a dream come true.
I'm hoping we get Jones back. I agree with what we're doing here.
Oh, Sam
Mayer and Quapple. Oh, man. I kind of think we unlock Zilisch and lock Mayer.
Oh.
I know that's tough, but that would be my play here. We don't have to do that, but that would be my play.
Do I unlock Slim Jim though? I think I might unlock Slim Jim.
For who? For Mayer?
Yeah, for sure. But it's him or Zilisch, honestly.
These are just tough because, like on the Cup side, we were able to let 2 decent drivers go and get 2 pretty good drivers back. Here, though, we could get Myatt Snyder and Joey.
Why couldn't this be our last spin again? Maybe it'll be like.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get lucky again.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Slim Jim. I gotta take Mayer.
Yeah,
I gotta take Mayer. Here we go.
It'd be great if we get let's get Jones and Alfredo, or like Taylor Gray and somebody like that. Let's see what we get.
Come on, baby. Oh, okay, Alfredo and Dean Thompson. Okay,
those are 2 perfectly serviceable. Like your 5 and your 6. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I would have loved a little Quapple Slim Jim combo there, but
yeah,
I'll tell you what, man. This game is so fun. I'm so happy we got with one of my favorite people in the space. Will Ty has been doing a great job out there for years and years. I've known him, I think, going on like a half decade. Tells you how long I've been doing this, Elliot. So. Very grateful for that product. That was a lot of fun. Let's see what the comments had to say here as well. Erik saying, thanks, guys. Enjoyed the show. I was able to see absolutely. And saying he was like, hey, that's all right. We appreciate anyone making time for us, man, right now, especially like busy week for everyone, right? I don't know if you have to work tomorrow, but I know a lot of the world is offline.
Independence Day observed, university closed. So
yeah, absolutely. One real quick reminder as well before we get out of here, check out the IBT Racing family. You can do that right now over there at in-betweenmedia.com/chat. A lot of fun stuff happening right there, as well as the entire FSAN racing community right here on YouTube. Elliot, you guys have really couple fun shorts if you want to give a preview of maybe some of those hitting the wire.
Yeah, man. So we talked about Austin Green. Of course, didn't end up with the top 10, but we made our plea. We got to get this on socials and get it out there. Need our plea for some Austin Green merch.
Yes.
So I got the Minions Denny Hamlin shirt in the mail because it doesn't look like they're going to make any Pocono Win merchandise because, of course, the Minions are hard to deal with apparently. So I had to rep the shirt, and I'd love to rep some Austin Green and some of these other drivers you don't talk about. I can't wear a Bowman shirt every weekend. I like to bring a little flair. You got the nice pared down. I don't know how you're wearing a hoodie because, again, it's
cold in my basement right now. Honestly.
We're in a heat wave right now in Pennsylvania. Most of the country is too, but the last 2 days and the next 2 days, we're in the mid-90s, feels like 100. So I'm sweating my ass off. You're in a hoodie. I don't get it. But anyway, and then Also, I'm not a big trading card guy. There's a lot of people, though, really into trading cards. I got myself a box of Panini cards and going to do a little card opening here that's going to go out shortly. We'll see. We'll have to see what I got and maybe do some giveaways here on the channel.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Great stuff here from you. Great stuff from the entire community. Appreciate that. And excited to roll on back Chicago, get a little night racing going on, and cash some plays because I really like both my card and your card. The hardest part of tonight after this will just be, hey, we got to pick and choose. I know both of us want to get invested with each other's plays. So excited for that. Excited to talk a little in-season tournament. That'll be live tomorrow on the channel as well. So if you finish this video, go check that one out as well.
Yeah, hopefully your bracket's not busted, but I know a lot of them are. There are no more perfect brackets left. So we'll talk more about the in-season challenge then. In terms of how the weekend goes, I wouldn't hate a back-to-back split apart by 7 years winner, but we'll see how it goes. Thanks a million for taking the ride down the back road with us tonight, and we'll see you next time. Best of luck with your bets over the weekend, and have a great 4th.